shutting down. Remember the Concorde? Oh, you're too young for the Concorde. You're too young for the Concorde. Used to fly into outer space, right? What did they find out? There was no curve to the Earth. What did they find out? They can go but so high, the dome would cut them off. So they began to say, okay, we have to get rid of this. We have to cause it to crash. And say, well, we found a problem with the Concorde. Well, if you found a problem with one of the planes, why would you stop the entire service? Okay, nobody even thought about that. The reason for that is too many people looking out of that little hole, because the hole to the Concorde is about that big, were seeing that the thing was straight across. There was no curve. Because if you're flying in outer space, you're not supposed to see anything. In fact, if you're flying on a curved Earth, and you're flying this way, if you don't follow the curved Earth, you'll be flying off into outer space, wouldn't you?
Right.
You don't ask the pilot, are you constantly adjusting to go down? No, you're not. You're flying straight.
Okay, that leads into my next question. Actually, so there's a rapper named B.O.B.
Who's that? I don't know anything.
Rapper, his name is B.O.B. and he is a self-proclaimed flat earther. Right?
Oh, okay, flat earther. Okay.
So I wanted to know more about, because I don't know too much about that argument. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is good because we spoke about this back in the 90s, and of course that was not something that we wanted to speak about because your father knew somebody who's by the name of what was his name? It was two Europeans. One was part of the Philadelphia experiment, and his name was Al Bielek. Al Bielek and Preston Nichols. When I was at one of the Gathering of the Masters, you were still a baby, we spoke behind the scenes about that. What's about this flat earth? Because I was reading someone who was very profound information. Matter of fact, I always carry his book around. You should see one of his books up there. See the book up there?
Worlds Beyond Poles.
Worlds Beyond the Poles. You got to see that book. That book became the catechism for a while, but when I told him I got the old manuscript on it, they said, don't talk about that. They said, because the people who are the astronomers were dying. It would mean like suicided, he just shot himself in the head because of what they were finding. Supposedly, the guy that you see that is in the wheelchair, what's his name? That's a super... Hawkins. He wasn't like that. They caused it because of what he found. And that's not him speaking. That's somebody else speaking through a microphone because he can't speak. So that's you're watching orchestration. It's all game. But as far as flat Earth, we never taught flat Earth. It's a flat plane. It doesn't end. There is no end to it. There are different areas of habitation, but in our specific envelope, we are in what we call a kind of a Merkaba field. And it's not glass, it's made of what I, at the time, back in those days, said was compressed hydrogen. Now, how do you compress hydrogen? There's no way to compress something that's the first element. Well, they just did it. Now that they did it, everybody's saying, well, yo, Dr. Valentine, I remember you said that the dome was made of compressed hydrogen, and that it was mind-blowing. But now, a little Indian boy, along with a European scientist, actually got hydrogen to a particular way. I don't know how it does it scientifically, so now it's reflecting. You could never get a reflective surface from a hydrogen molecule, but now it's reflecting. So now we're beginning to see that everything being water in different densities, your air is water. It's just that you're created for a different type of water environment. Oxygen is water, and so is water. So fish breathe there, you breathe here.
Right.
So, being on a flat plane, everything essentially above as below, there are entities in second and third and fourth and fifth dimensions that are directly above us on their own flat plane looking up at us and you looking up at them. It's like a deep situation, and don't even try to, what do you call it, but I can't speak on it because that's what we teach, so I don't want to give too much away. But I let you know that it's a plane. It's not an earth, a flat earth. All of it is a plane. It's the infinite plane actually giving a reflection to the eternal mind, God. See, the God being eternal cannot create anything other than itself. So it doesn't create in little spots. It creates in accordance with its own infinitude, with its own nature of infinity and eternity. So you cannot just say, build here, build here, build here, and ain't nothing but space. No, everything is the mind of the Creator. And as the mind of the Creator, it is infinite. Just like you are eternal. You are infinite. There was never a time that you were not. There is no beginning. You didn't come out of a sludge. You weren't slime. You didn't turn into a monkey. And you didn't become man. You were always this template, but you were nothing more than a spark. That spark takes on certain types of veneers where it's needed. There's a spark that calls itself a porpoise. There's a spark that today in third density calls itself a whale. There's a spark that calls itself an orangutan. But we are each different sparks with an expression to take on in accordance with the consciousness that the spark contains. And that's what you are. You are now part of the human, HUE, experiment. And this spark, essentially, always was. So how could something that is eternal and infinite create something terminal? It is not. You are not terminal. This is. Just like you would want to go down, say, if I want to go down the bottom of the ocean. If I want to go down the bottom of the ocean, I can't just jump in and just keep going. What would happen after I get to about 30, 40 feet? Pressure and die. All right, so what do? You put on a proper suit for that. Well, this is your proper suit for third density. Okay,
right.
So now you're here, as they all say, you are not physical having a spiritual experience, you're a spirit having a physical experience. But they want you to believe that this is all you are.